This is a message from your guides reading for the Andromedan star being. Okay, so I have 3 crystals here. I have a couple of runes, and now it's starting to look like a couple of these crystals are for the whole Patreon group, because this is the 3rd reading. And I've only got 1 more this week, so it's kind of looking like that. And then I also have another crystal that I only pulled for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use this one to surround us in some protective space. So this is my smoky quartz. So this one I drew specifically for your reading. Feels like your guides are definitely trying to clear something right now in your aura. And when I first started surrounding you in the protective space, the energy was going in this circle. Even when I surrounded myself, then the energy started going in this circle. And then it started going the other way, and it was weird. It formed for a second this question mark. I don't even know exactly what that's about. Okay, part of this is it feels like what this question mark is kind of representing is, okay, now that you are sure about what you want to be doing, they can kind of lift some of this confusion. It's like it's still in your auric field from before when you were kind of lost and all over the place and you didn't know what to do. And the thing is, that can do one of 2 things. Okay, so clearly those are some thought forms, because your guides are saying that either they can clear or they can adapt. So that indicates it's not just some energy floating around there. These are thought forms. So either these are going to clear, which is what your guides are doing right now, or they would adapt. Okay, and it feels like they would adapt into something that would just have to do with kind of confusion in general and kind of chaotic energies, and I don't know where to place myself or my thoughts right now, or and it feels like we've had enough of that. You know, you've kind of been there, done that, and you're getting into this clearer space now. I feel like you're doing better with the physical environment stuff, but there is definitely a reminder coming in to just make sure that you keep up with that, especially now for what they're going to be clearing, because any kind of physical mess around you feels like it's going to kind of disturb that. It's not going to allow them to really process that clearing. And it feels like when this has lifted and it's out of your aura, it feels like you're going to have more peace of mind. You're going to be more calm, collected. You're not going to get, irritated about things ever, or, well, I can't say ever because, not ever. But, I mean, people do get irritated about things, you know what I'm saying? But in general, though, you're going to have more peace of mind. You're just going to be more relaxed. It feels like just more easygoing. And I feel like you're already kind of coming more into that. It feels like you have a much longer fuse already. So you don't have like ever this kind of short kind of fuse where you can get a little frustrated, but it feels mostly like frustration with your own self. For like where you're going and where you're headed, and you don't know what to do with yourself, and you're just getting kind of fed up and in some ways can't tolerate your own emotions and your own self, and like a lack of understanding what to do and what to put yourself, like what they were already talking about. So that has cleared to the point where like you've moved out of it enough where it just doesn't suit you now. And your environment and what is happening with you, it's like it doesn't really make sense to stay there, be there in your aura anymore. So they want to clear that. Okay, so I need to get to these two runes here as well. So these I pulled for the group. I didn't realize that at first, and I ended up pulling the exact two same runes out of the bag twice for two different people because I didn't realize that I was supposed to keep them, and then I ended up pulling them again. So this rune is Nathes, and this translates, it means need. And so it actually has to do with a lot of confusion, unclarity, but it really derives from fears. It also has to do with general lack. It can be finances, it can be different things, but it's an ungrounded feeling. It's a kind of disturbed feeling. And then the second one I pulled is Awaz, and Awaz represents a tree. And so it can represent things like strength and endurance and being grounded, but then when I have it together with this rune, this is telling me that this need and this really fearful feeling and this fearful tendency, like where these emotions kind of come up, it feels like these are kind of entrenched. That's what Awaz is telling me. This is old, this is deeply rooted, ancient even, so it can be going to past lives. Now these are group runes though. With you, I feel like this is a little bit more not as old. But this, in this case, it is pointing a little bit to some financial stuff, but it's especially pointing to this thing of confusion and kind of frustration that was there that they are really attempting to clear. But again, it's something that can adapt. And so that's the reason that they really want to get rid of it, and they want to move you out of it fully and completely. So practicing being really calm, really collected, and collected in your thoughts. So meditation is a really good idea. I know they brought that up with you before. That's really good to do every day. It feels like even if it's just for like 5 minutes. And I feel like especially right now, that's really going to help them. And I also feel like having some time where, and it can be during that meditation as well, but it feels like having some time where you just call on your guides and you just focus on their energies and you just allow them to clear you. I feel like you can do that even before you go to bed as well. You can just call on them. And you can just ask them to clear you, ask them to, and even specifically this stuff, this confusion, these thought forms that have to do with ungroundedness and unclarity of your mind, like mental unclarity, but even like an emotional kind of disturbed feeling where you're kind of fearful, anxious, and so you end up kind of all over the place, and then you don't know where to put yourself mentally, but some of that starts emotionally first. And obviously, confusion, we can associate it with a mental state, but it still is an emotion. You can feel, obviously, feel confused, and then feel kind of annoyed and frustrated about the confusion. So I feel like the Awaz with you though, it's still representing something old, but it feels like in your case, it's not meaning something ancient. What it's more meaning is like an old way of being that you can finally put to rest and step into this new way of being that serves you now. So it just feels like an outdated old version of you, and now you're stepping into this new version of yourself. And one thing really quick, because I know everybody asks me, so before I forget and go on to the next reading, these were the other two crystals. And so these were the two group crystals. So I had my smoky quartz that I drew for you. This has to do with clearing, releasing negative energies, and also deflecting energies that are coming towards you. Then I have my rose quartz, which is a heart chakra stone. It has a lot to do with healing, tranquility, balance, and harmonizing your emotional self. Also healing like your relationships, and also like the emotions that you're putting them out in a balanced and harmonized kind of way. So your output. And then I have here my Shattuckite. So this is a lot of earth energies, healing, balance, harmony as well, even with this one. It's very grounded, and then it also has to do with upper chakras as well. So usually this can be a lot of clairvoyance and psychic abilities. But with you, I'm going to go more for the mental clarity kind of aspect, because that's in the higher chakras as well. This stone doesn't usually have to do with that, but that's more what it feels like with you. And then creativity as well. Okay, so those are the other two stones. Okay, so that is all that your guides have to say for this reading this week. And I will see you soon for the next reading. Thank you so much. Namaste.